Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of the Taupe Hollow Sleep Research at the 35% area bonus. It is the prep week for the Fire Week, which is happening next week. We're currently on May 1st, which means May 6th, which is the first upcoming Monday, will be the Fire Week. One topic that I wanted to cover here at the beginning of this video is RaenonX and their website. They have added me as one of their content creators in the Discord server for Pokémon Sleep for the English side of the game. And so they have requested that we are peeking a look at this website, and I finally figured out how to screen record on my new computer. And so here it is. If you've seen my widget at all, a lot of the details are from RaenonX, and you can always find a link to their website in my video description. And one of the things that I did want to peek a look at here in this video was specifically the Comfey and the Vulpix. So I haven't yet added the, wait, does it not want to update? Hang on there. Wait, I have to manually update this? Sorry, this is kind of a test, but it's also kind of interesting, so... Wow. There we go. Sorry, guys. So, I haven't yet updated the ingredient rate for the Comfey, nor the skill trigger rate, and the reason is that it takes a bit of time for these to update properly. It takes a lot of research to really nail down the specifics. And so that will happen in some time. And once these red numbers are converted into the regular, let's see, just click some random. Hey, there we go. Get a live feed. And I click in the same Pokemon. If we, for example, have a look at the Dragonite, you can see that the numbers here are white. And so if you want to stay the most up to date on anything Pokemon Sleep, I highly recommend you to check out the RaenonX website. And another thing we can take a look at is the Vulpix, because sometimes people get a little bit confused by this, but now that it is this early, the Vulpix is not even encounterable. These numbers are just fillers, and same with these ingredients. The Ninetales and the Vulpix will not be finding Slowpoke tails, so just be aware that new Pokemon, it takes a little bit of time for things to update, but for example, when the text here is white, so we have 13 for the inventory, and on the Ninetales we have 23. Let's see here. There we go. So yeah, these numbers are temporary. The main skill here though is interesting, and that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about in this video. So you can see in terms of my widget, I have put in the frequency and the inventory. And so if I bring up the widget menu here, you can also bring on the Ninetales, because the big thing in this video will be to compare it to Typhlosion as it stands. And it's going to take a little bit of time to load here. So you can see that these are both berry specialists. This came as a surprise for most, because they have released a lot of skill specialists and a lot of ingredient Pokemon in the past time. But it's been a good while since we got a berry specialist. And what's interesting here is there is no other Pokemon that really has a good couple berry specialists for the same typing. Like obviously you have Raticate and the Slowking line, but the Slowking is kind of... No, Slowking, what am I saying? Slacking. Those have so similar names. So Slackoth, Vigoroth, and Slacking, they are kind of dual specialists, so they're not really pure berry specialists, but these are berry specialists all the way. I am curious though what the ingredients will be on the Ninetales and what this ingredient rate and skill rate will end up being. The main skill on the Ninetales is super interesting, and it makes me almost wonder if Ninetales could potentially be a good first healer Pokemon for beginners. But then again, it shows up at Taupe Hollow, so to an extent you still want to go for that Wigglytuff early on with the nap sessions on Cyan Beach. But for me, I'm almost wondering if I should go all in on a Ninetales, even though I have a really strong Sylveon. I'm almost wondering if the Ninetales and the Sylveon can run kind of a tag team setup. It depends on the skill rate here. If this skill rate is anywhere above 3%, I do think I'll likely go hard on the Ninetales investment and dump seeds into it. As for what I would want to look for, we can pop into the expansion in a second or two. Just want to highlight this too. The frequency on the Ninetales is very impressive. 43 minutes is really fast, and it's not too far behind the Typhlosion. Ninetales only has one pre-evolution, so it is gonna lack a little bit on the main skill level. But overall, the Energizing Cheer has got a pretty big buff recently, and I've heard talks about the ratio being 60-40, to where it is 60% chance of the Pokemon with the lowest energy being targeted by this main skill, and then a 40% chance distributed evenly among the 4 other team members. And at that point, the Energizing Cheer can do a lot of work, particularly once it gets to main skill level 6 and 7. So that's what I'm thinking personally. I also have a Dedenne that I want to use some main skill seeds on, and maybe the Entei or the Suicune could be interesting. We still don't know on the Entei if it's going to be Helper Boost or if it's going to be some other main skill. Could be kind of interesting with something unique, but to an extent the Helper Boost Fire will be unique too, just not very special. So, Energizing Cheer on the Ninetales. I will update the ingredient rate and the skill rate once it is settled on RaenonX. It's same as with the Comfey. I have not updated the numbers here yet because I don't want to have any outdated or inaccurate information, as best as I can. So if we then pop up the Ninetales, we can briefly go over what I am currently thinking in terms of what I want to look for. And it being a berry specialist, we for sure want the berry finding. That is a non-negotiable. And because it is so fast, I'm almost wondering if maybe the skill trigger S here is the way to go. And almost wonder if like the careful nature maybe, to where you get that main skill up as much as possible, and it's already fast, so you don't really worry too much about the speed. And then you want the ingredient finding down, as well as those skill triggers. So I'm almost wondering to do like a dual specialist, a berry skill specialist kind of build on it, and just see what happens. Obviously the skill rate here will drastically impact that. If the skill rate is like 1.5% or 2%, or I mean, if I was to like just make a big wish, I think if 4% or above was to happen, then this would be very, very strong. But I'm thinking probably around 3% is the most likely. And so you will want the skill trigger slots here. And so this is the Hopes and Dreams simulator. You're not going to find this exact Ninetales, obviously, but at the very least, the berry finding and the skill trigger M in one of those 2 slots, and hopefully either speed up. You want the ingredient finding down, and if you can find the main skill chance up on this Pokemon, that's going to be really strong. Me personally, I'm going for main skill chance up nature, berry finding, and at least 1 skill trigger M potentially here. It can also be S, but then I need to sub-skill seed it in one of these 3 first slots. So personally, I'm super excited for another berry specialist. I am going to put up the Typhlosion here, and one of the reasons why the Ninetales could be pretty hype is because when you run the Entei, assuming it has Helper Boost Fire, then one of the Pokemon on that team will have to be a healer if you want to run it successfully. And the Helper Boost Electric on the Raikou is so that the more electric types you have, the better the main skill is. And so if you have a berry specialist that has the healing that can be triggered by the Helper Boost Fire and increase that combo, then the Ninetales can be very, very, very strong. And so paired up with the Typhlosion, which is one of the best Pokemon hands down in the whole game, then yeah, it's just an obvious thing. You run the Entei, you run the Typhlosion, you have a Ninetales, and then maybe a Flareon and an Arcanine. That could be interesting. Not too big on the Arcanine, and Flareon is more of a supplemental skill specialist, so it will be interesting to see. but at the very least, the Typhlosion and the Ninetales is going to be very strong. So, we talked almost 10 minutes before jumping into the game here. I was thinking to potentially make a separate video on the Vulpix, but here we are, we're just doing everything all in one. And if my calculations are correct today, I should be having enough sleep time on the Pichu so that I will be able to evolve it in this video. So that's going to be pretty exciting. I am not looking too hot this week because my team is quite weak here at Taupe Hollow, and I am running the good camp ticket, so whatever you're seeing here, it's even weaker in reality because of that good camp ticket. So I'm gonna jump into the first sleep session here, and for some reason I only got to like 86 on the sleep score today, so that was a little bit disappointing. I feel like I went to bed early, so whatever. Yeah, I guess that's accurate. I wake up kind of early. All right, let's see this, everyone. Is it going to be a snoozing session? It kind of looks like it, honestly. A dozing. I have no idea what kind of dozing Pokemon are happening at Taupe Hollow, but it's not Onix and it's not Typhlosion. So for the most part, I'm not too excited about it. 7 spawns though, that's pretty good. Especially this early in the week, it's just Wednesday. Houndour, I can respect it. Same with the Ghastly, not bad at all. 2 Houndour, Haunter, a Shuppet, Ekans, Swalot, and Krogunk. Oh, I thought it was stuck with the cheeks out. That would have been really funny, but yeah, definitely not gonna be hunting this Swalot, even if it is hungry. I feel like Swalot got a big boost during the last balance adjustment, so to an extent I would be interested in a Gulpin, but it's just not a particularly strong skill specialist, and at that point you really want to catch it in the first stage. Really? Why is it like this? I don't want the Krogunk, but I'll take you for the candy this time. But I think I'll start to stop hunting the Krogunk because I have a decent Toxicroak already. If I'm not mistaken, it is the AAA ingredient list, so it has all oil. I could catch this one, but I'm not going to. I'm thinking I should be using my premium biscuit first so that I at least get that out of the way. And I'm thinking potentially the Houndour here is a good target. So Houndour in the main series is a Fire Dark type Pokemon, but in Pokemon Sleep it's a pure Dark type because there are no dual types in Sleep. So could be interesting to have the Houndour on the team with the Entei, but it is just not a fire type. So I'm gonna double regular biscuit the Houndour here, and if it's still hungry, I'll give it a great biscuit and we can have a decent amount of Pokemon to review here today. All right, let's see it. And after this session, I also have a nap session of like 5 hours, so that's pretty huge. It's gonna mess with my sleep consistency this week and the overall score. It is all full. That is unfortunate. So I think with that, I'm gonna leave it. I'm not a big Shuppet fan personally. We'll have to see whatever happens with the new areas in the future, but Bonnet is not an overwhelmingly interesting Pokemon in my opinion. I think it is a bit overrated. The Ghost Berry has a decent value, and it does have a low ingredient rate, and it's decently fast, but it's just not one that I'm particularly interested in personally. So we're gonna put up the Houndoom, and we can review some of these Pokemon. I think overall the better Pokemon here to give the candy for is gonna be the Gengar. Gengar is a really, really strong ingredient Pokemon. And so even though I think a lot of people do like the Houndoom, It's not among the best Pokemon. It is really slow, as you can see at that 55-minute frequency with a 20% ing rate. So here's a Toxicroak, and I didn't realize that was the first thing I caught here. So you can see the Toxicroak does not have a C ingredient. It's oil and sausage. And at that point, getting the triple oil is way easier. And that is part of why Toxicroak is such a good oil Pokemon, despite the fact that it is slow and has a somewhat low ingredient drop rate. The chance for you to find the triple oil here with good sub skills is pretty high because you don't have to hunt as many Toxicroak overall. So let's have a look at this one. I already have a really good one, but if it is triple oil, no, it's double sausage. Big oof. Inventory, helping speed, skill trigger, dream shard bonus, and speed of help up. This is pretty strong overall, but I'm not really looking for a sausage Toxicroak. If you compare it to the Charizard, it's just much slower, and it's just not really holding a candle to it. So you can do that real quickly just so that everyone are familiar with these Pokemon. You can see their drops are basically the same. 5 at level 30 and 8 on the 60, while it's 7 on the Charizard. They have more or less the same ingredient rate, but you can see the frequency here is a huge difference. The Charizard is a lot faster. So back into the game, and we can bring out the Houndoom again. I'm getting close to the friendship level 10 with that guaranteed gold skill in the first slot, so that is going to be interesting. No berry finding, at least not in the first slot here. It is a berry specialist, so that would be what I'm looking for. The skill level up M or S, I guess. Helping speed. Ooh, hang on. Helping speed. If one of these are berry finding, this could be an interesting Houndour. I would like it at level 50 though, if anything. I feel like 75 is still too far away for most Pokemon. Oh, it's skill level up M and the research EXP bonus. It does have the brave nature though. Speed of help up. Guess the hunt continues. Ooh, I thought I had 2, but it got full. I got tricked by that other Houndour. Alright, and I did complete a mission. I'll collect that later. So, I'm going to connect now to the Go++. And I have been doing a big nap session. So hopefully it won't mess too hard with my sleep consistency. But I was really desperate for the Raichu evolution in this video. So I think that's pretty much it where I want it. I needed around 4.5 hours. So we'll just have to see what happens. And this is interesting. So I was doing the experiment, and that first little dip here, so we're gonna go like way into the analysis here. This first dip here is essential for it to actually register that you're sleeping. So I would say you activate the device, you put it on a table somewhere, and just let it rest for like 20, 25, 30 minutes, something like that, and you're gonna get this dip. Then what you're gonna do is, what I did is, I basically just triple tapped it, so I did like that, fairly gently. If you do anything more vigorous, it's gonna be like, whoa, that was a big thing happening right there, and it's gonna knock you right up to dozing. And then I had an alarm on my watch, so every 15 minutes I just triple tapped it like that, and it requires very little force. So this is interesting. I'm gonna keep doing that during the nap sessions throughout the week, and that makes me wonder if I can actually force dozing sleep sessions at Snowdrop when I go back looking for Delibird. And if my teams are a little bit more strong than what they are currently, then maybe I can get like nap session Delibird, especially if I do longer nap sessions. But it is really annoying to have to tap the device every 15 minutes for hours. So that's really the only downside, but you gotta hustle to get those rewards and the results. I didn't catch which sleep style it was. Was it snoozing? It should be snoozing, right? Charmander is snoozing. Rattata, Raticate, Diglett. There's the Quilava. 2-star sleep. No, 1-star. Then I guess the sleep that I saw yesterday was 2-star. Because now I know I've had both of them. That's pretty nice. I'll take it. If I'm not mistaken, it was like 1 biscuit away yesterday. It was like really, really close, or 2. Something like that. So that's interesting. And a Cyndaquil. That's amazing. And because this was essentially the nap session for May 1st, you can see up in the corner there, I have a premium biscuit. So I will definitely get a Cyndaquil and definitely get a Quilava in this session. So that is huge. I am going to hunt anything I can get my hands on and just blow the bag in terms of biscuits, because I'm really looking for that pristine Typhlosion, and I'm not going to let anything get away from it. So it's essentially what I did with the Jigglypuff. Many of you will know that I have like more than 20 friendship levels with Jigglypuff, which is awful because you want it as or Igglybuff, but it was way before I did the nap sessions and I didn't really understand the game all that much. I feel tempted to claim this Diglett right here, but I have such a god tier Doug Trio that I'd rather keep those biscuits for other Pokemon and then just level up the other Pokemon a little bit more slowly. Alright, here's the Quilava. It can't get full here because it needs to at least accept 2 biscuits, which is nice. So got a level 1 Quilava here. Obviously the crit happens at the very end. I should have just went over to the other Pokemon here, the Cyndaquil, until I hit a crit, and then I could go back maybe. So here it is, the Cyndaquil and the Quilava in the same session. That is pretty exciting. They are berry specialists, so it really doesn't matter which evolution stage you catch them on. The higher evolutions are just going to be in need of more resources, really. But to an extent, you get a little bit back in terms of leveling and all that stuff, so it kind of evens out. I am tempted by the Rattata, but I do need to save my resources here for Fire Week and Entei Week and everything, so I'm specifically narrowing it down to the Cyndaquil and the Quilava here. And we'll see if any of these are any good. I don't think I'm anywhere near level 10 on the Cyndaquil, and I didn't pay enough attention to actually see what it was. And I'm hoping that all of you guys are sending me Cyndaquil candy this week, because that's what we're all into. So let's have a look at the first Pokemon here. It is the Quilava. It's a hasty nature. Oh, I don't remember this one, and I'm not going to spoil it yet. So let's have a look and see if this is berry finding. It is not, at least not in the first slot. And we can see 2 gold skills. Is this helping speed berry finding? Oh, berry finding in the second slot. Research EXP bonus. If this is somehow helping speed coming up, either in the nature or in the sub skills, or both, I would definitely just settle on this one already. Skill level up. Ah, skill trigger. So close. EXP gains up. This is very strong though. Berry finding at level 25 is huge. And to an extent, I don't care too much about the research EXP bonus. It does clog up the slots. And the skill trigger M and the skill level up S really doesn't matter because it was caught at the second stage here. But overall, it's a berry finding. It is decent. Level 22. It shouldn't take too much to get it to whatever level Typhlosion evolves at. And so it is a good contestant. I'll consider using it for the Entei week, but the hunt continues. We're on day 2 out of 3 weeks here. That's crazy. Serious nature, that is neutral. So this one's probably a dud. Let's see. Helping speed, ingredient finder, inventory, helping speed, skill trigger. Oof, is a big oof on the ingredient finder here. You really don't want that on the Typhlosion. So the helping speed is good, but that one's going right in the bin. And so I'm pretty excited about that Quilava. That was pretty huge. I'm almost wondering if maybe higher evolutions have a different role on the sub-skills. That could make sense. Otherwise, I'm just very surprised by how little it is worth to catch the higher evolutions in general. So yeah, a little bit of experience for everyone. And we can say goodbye to the Pichu form here. We're gonna evolve it very briefly. And before we do, I want to cook a protein shake. I have sorted here by recipe level, and then I'm just gonna work this protein smoothie all the way to the top. I don't have a good honey Pokemon anymore. My Venusaur was really strong until I hit level 30 and got tomatoes. That kind of sucked. So I've kind of given up on the dessert weeks for now. I do have a really strong Absol, and as many of you know, I have been hunting for the Delibird for months. Haven't found it yet. And so I need the Delibird, and I need the honey, and I need the apples. So the honey is going to be the Venusaur, eggs on the Delibird, and apples on the Pinsir. It's going to take a while. So before then, I'm just going to level 55 this smoothie and just run the Tyranitar and the Absol whenever dessert week happens, and hopefully have enough berry power to really even the Drowsy investment here. So yeah, overall, it's a pretty weak week for me. I saw that one of the missions was to make it to Master 3. I think thankfully I should be able to make it there. And it is a Cyndaquil incense waiting for me, which I will hold on to until the Entei research. Because the fire-type Pokemon will likely drop more mains, as we saw with the Raikou research. I did claim the new seeds, so the shop has refreshened, and the sub-skill seeds and the main skill seeds are back in stock. Because of the change in the meta with these legendary Pokemon, I am aiming to get the Master Biscuit. I'm hoping that with the monthly bonus and then the 2 weeks now, yeah, I'll definitely hit 4,000 again for the Master Biscuit. And then I'll go into the Entei event with 2 Masters, which is pretty nice. And at that point, I'm thinking I probably can get my hands on up to 4, maybe 5 Entei. Yeah, just throughout the event if it's 2 weeks. And that could be pretty interesting. I may also just hold on to those resources for the Suicune event because I'm most interested in the Suicune. If the Entei has a different main skill than the Helper Boost, then I may decide differently. But I'm thinking they probably both are Helper Boost, and I'd much rather have Helper Boost Water than Fire personally. So yeah, you can see Master 3 here is coming up very shortly. So thankfully my team is not that weak this week. I am interested in taking a look at this Pichu. It has now reached the requirement to become a Raichu, and I do have a Thunderstone, so this is pretty exciting. I'm not going to put any candies into it yet, and the reason is I don't actually have enough candy to reach level 50, which is where the berry finding is at. But I'm thinking if I just maximize the mini candy boost next week, I do have a good chunk of Dream Shards. Then potentially by the end of the week, I can either see day by day if I then spend the rest of the candy to see if I can push it past 50 and just keep going with that pattern. And I think I looked at the calendar and I'm not too far off, so it may just require my whole mini candy boost to do this Raichu. But I think for the most part, I'm more than happy with that. I went on a long hunt for the Pichu, and I probably will have to do the same with the Typhlosion. I did get a nice Quilava today, but it's not really my standards in terms of the berry specialist. They are so important, and now that the game developers are really highlighting that you should focus on one individual per species and just max that one out, the Helper Boost is emphasizing that you need unique species to really enhance those main skills. Then I really want a great Typhlosion once I go for it. So I want the nature to be on point, Potentially Adamant BFS, that could be nice with a helping speed in there somewhere. But we'll see. This one I got really lucky on though. Adamant Nature, Berry Finding, and it's got the helping speed S that can be sub-skill seeded into the M before level 100. I do think I'm gonna hit 75 in not too long on this Pichu, just because I'm gonna speed this one up to level 50 pretty easily. And then it is one of my strongest Pokemon overall in my whole collection by this far. And it therefore will probably get a lot of that daily experience and just ride itself all the way to level 75 eventually. And then maybe we'll see some more Pikachu events. I do look forward to Halloween and Christmas. Man, Pikachu is fast. 40 minutes at level 15. That's huge. So we're going to go all the way into Raichu here. And then we'll just have to count down towards the end of next week, and hopefully the amount of candies that I've held on to for all this time is going to just help me speed into level 50 and unlock that berry finding. And I can put Raichu up in the widget here so that we have it side by side. There it is, the Raichu. I don't have a nickname for this Raichu, so if any of you guys in the comments have a suggestion, ask for the nickname, then I'm all ears. And you can see the charge strength S here is at level 5 now, so 1500, that's pretty huge. 3% skill rate is pretty decent, and so I tend to collect for my Pokemon quite a bit, and so yeah, it'll just be interesting to see. Another thing I noticed the other day was that the Raichu does have the eggs at level 60, so it would be really, really funny with the 22% here. It does have the adamant, so it is a bit lower with the decreased ingredient here, so it's probably like 16-17%. But it would be really funny if I actually use the Raichu as my egg Pokemon short term. That would be hilarious. Because as you saw, the biscuits, they only need 4 eggs. And so I think across my ingredient magnets and this Raichu, I could potentially be doing the biscuits by just having this Raichu. I have the Togekiss, they don't work. I have tried them extensively. I just get frustrated. So yeah, the Raichu is coming nicely along. Obviously the level 15 berry is not going to be too strong. I do have the comparison here actually. If we go the Grape Berry, level 1, and then we have Grape Berry level 30. You can see the value there is more than double. So maybe I have like 20, 30, 40% missing from the level 30 comparison. And then you can see by level 60, it hits around 100 as a base value. And then you get the area bonus and the favored berry, and all that stacks nicely. So my current team looks like this. I'm running the Absol and the Tyranitar for the protein smoothie. My Walrein is the best berry specialist by far. Anytime I really just sort by the berry finding, it comes out on top. And the Tyranitar in a close second. You can see the Quilava here is already hitting the 4th spot. That is very surprising. I'm almost wondering if I should just go for this one. What do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Particularly with the EXP gains up, I almost think that's a bigger buff than the speed, because you get higher values on those berries way faster. It is a very strong candidate though, so I think for the most part I'll just keep the hunt up, but it may be the case that the Vulpix is going to be so strong that I may just settle on a decent Quilava and go all in Vulpix, but then again, that is just a factor of how many biscuits you're interested in getting, and so I may just bundle up and dual hunt these. So I don't know why my dongle is making all these funny sounds, so I think it's about time to end off the video. You can leave a like if you like this video, if you found any of the discussions interesting, and I hope your Fire Week prep is going nicely. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.